Okay, greetings, peace, and love. Um, I want to talk a little bit about Genesis 6, chapter 6. Um, I grew up in like religiously, like my grandmother was religious, my mother was religious, my mother was a Jehovah's Witness, so I used to study the Bible. Never got baptized, but I used to study the Bible throughout my younger childhood, teenage, young adult years until I made up my mind like it wasn't for me. So it was such a conflict within myself about the teachings. I was listening to someone speak today, and they were talking about the universal laws that are in place. As we know, like the creator already created universal laws. Everything have a law of how it operates, including the human beings, the animals, the trees, everything has a law in place of how the universe functions. So then it got me to think about, so then where did the Ten Commandments comes from? If the creator source already created the universe with these laws in place, then why would God give the Ten Commandments to was it Noah? No, Moses? Okay, I need to refresh myself on these names in the Bible. Why would God give the Ten Commandments? Basically, it doesn't matter who he gave it to, but why would there be Ten Commandments, right? So, because there are already universal laws, and we already created with these laws within our own being too, to operate within these laws. If we are not aware of those laws, that's on us, but the laws are already there, right? So so I was thinking, then where did the Ten Commandments from? And then it clicked within my being that those Ten Commandments couldn't have come from the one infinite source, because the one infinite source already has its law set up in place when it created the universe, right? So then I said, so who did these law comes from? And the answer that I received is that it has to come from beings that were not from this planet, Earth, beings that were operating in their spirit body, in their spiritual body. Because as you know, or may not know, but I've made a video on it before, that that our physical body, the physical, is not our true being. We're just experiencing the physical, the spirit. Our spirit, our soul is just experience, or the creator consciousness is just experiencing through our physical body, the physical body, right? But what reside within the physical body is what connected to source, which is consciousness. Source is all, the only thing that exists is really consciousness, and we are consciousness having an experience. So I'm saying, if source already created the universe with laws that already operating, that's already in place, then why would in the Bible it states, God gave the commandments? So why would we need commandments when we already have universal laws, the laws that are created to operate within the universe that are already in place? So then it brings me to Genesis 6:6. Well, but I don't want to read 6:6. I want to read the whole chapter 6 of Genesis, and it states, this is what it states: Now a population explosion took place upon the earth. It was at this time that beings from the spirit world, see, say that, beings from the spirit world, remember? I'm going to stop and just explain my thought on it for a bit. So if you're considered a beings from the spirit world, therefore you're not operating in a physical body, you're in your light body. You're just the spirit aspect of yourself, operating in a light body and not in the physical body. So that is what beings from the spirit world is. They're beings that are not in the physical body. They don't have a physical vehicle, right? Beings from the spirit world looked upon the beautiful earth women and took any they desired to be their wives. Then Jehovah said, by the way, I'm reading from the Living Bible. Just want to make sure. The Living Bible. All right. Okay. That's what I'm reading from. That's the name of this Bible. I'm sorry. Let me back up a bit to Genesis 6:3. Then Jehovah said, my spirit, remember he said, Jehovah said, my spirit. That means if they're saying Jehovah said, my spirit, so that means they must have some type of vehicle that they're traveling within to say my spirit, because God is consciousness, source is consciousness, the creator is consciousness. There is no physical body, right? Then Jehovah said, my spirit must not forever be disgraced in man, wholly evil as he is. I will give him 120 years to mend his ways. Now, and I read this and I think, okay, the one infinite creator source does not judge, does not operate off of feelings, because now they bringing the creator down to saying that the creator has feelings and regret, and and the creator could feel disgraced of what he have done by creating man, right? Now he's calling man that man is evil, right? This is his own creation. Now I'm going from scriptures, right? Because they said God created man, right? And now he's saying man is evil, right? And therefore he's going to cut man's life short to 120 years, so they will not live as long as they used to live, like before, when they live in 900 years, very long time. Now they cut down men to live up to 120 years, right? In those days, I'm continuing verse 4. In those days and even afterwards, when the evil beings from the spirit world, so it's also saying here now there's beings that are in spirit bodies. They came from the world of where they operate in the light body, right? So these are beings that come from a world, like a different density. It's a different density. So they operate in spirit, not the physical. Like they're not manifested as a human being and have the vessel of a human being. So in those days and even afterwards, when the evil beings from the spirit world were sexually involved with human women. So these human women are spirit operating as human being, manifested as human, that are having human experience. All right. So we're in those days and even afterwards, when the evil beings from the spirit world were sexually involved with human women, their children became giants, of whom so many legends are told. When the Lord God saw the extent of human wickedness, and that the trend and directions of man's lives were only towards evil, he was sorry, and he had made man. It broke his heart. So now they're saying, read the scriptures. Now they're saying the creator source has a heart. So if he has a heart, for you to have a heart, then you must have a physical body, right? Because consciousness doesn't have anything physical. Nothing physical exists. They're just consciousness, just energy, no physicalness, right? So now they're saying that whoever they're speaking about here has a heart and has regret. So now they're saying, you would be saying like God has regret. He feels regret. And I thought the one infinite creator do not make mistake. Nothing that the creator does is make mistake. We're not mistake. You're not mistake. Nothing that exists is a mistake, because everything serves its purpose, right? So now you have to really question that. Okay. All right. Now let's continue. Okay. Broke his heart. Let's continue in verse 7. And he said, this is how much they're bringing down the creator into like a being, like a human, or another being who's having an experience in a different form. Okay. So this is why I'm saying this is not the one infinite creator that created, that they're talking about in Genesis. My understanding is that these are beings from other planet who came to Earth and made the human vessel, who created human beings. These are other beings. But remember though, even though these are other beings, we are all connected to source. We all came from source. These beings are just other creations of source that exist in other universes, on other planets, and of a different density. Okay? And he said, I will blot out from the face of the earth all mankind that I create. Yes, and the animals too, and the reptiles and the birds, for I am sorry I made them. But Noah was a pleasure to the Lord. Okay, so the one who got the Ten Commandments was Moses. Sorry. Okay, but Noah was a pleasure to the Lord. Here is the story of Noah. He was the only true righteous man living on the earth at the time. So now we're saying he's the only true righteous man. So now we're creating separation by saying that some men are righteous or some are not righteous. No, we are creating the separation that's saying some men are good and some are wicked, when consciousness is all things and there is no separation. Consciousness is both what you term good and evil, negative and positive. This polarity is what we are experiencing in this third density earth experience, right? So, but Noah was a pleasure to the Lord. Here is the story of Noah. He was the only true righteous man living on the earth at that time. He tried always to conduct his affairs according to God's will. And he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Meanwhile, the crime rate was rising rapidly across the earth, and as seen by God, the world was rotten to the core. As God observed how bad it was and saw that all mankind was vicious and depraved, he said to Noah, I have decided to destroy all mankind, for the earth is filled with crime because of men. Yes, I will destroy mankind from the earth, make a boat from resinous wood, sealing it with tar, and construct decks installed throughout the ship. Okay, I don't need to go any further. All the instructions is just telling Noah how to create this boat. But anyway, so my understanding, what comes to me, my inner truth, my inner knowledge, or what my spirit is revealing to me, that part that is connected to source, like God within me, the spirit, the God within me, is giving me the understanding that if source already created a law that governs the universe, why would he, and it's not even a he, it's just how much we are programmed to even put a he to it. Why would source then give a commandment? Why would source choose a certain set of people to treat differently? Why would source make these promises? Why would source have these regrets about creating human? All these things. So what this reveals to me is that the God that they're talking about in the Bible is not the one infinite created that started creation, the universe. These are just other beings from other density, like maybe the 5th density or 6th density beings, whatever density they are, that doesn't need a physical body, that operates in light body, non-physical, that are able to do telepathy, that are able to lift things with their mind, that are able to use the laws that are in place already, that are able to use energy, that are able to manipulate energy. These are the beings that came from wherever they came from, whatever universe they came from, whoever these beings is. I'm not even going to get into speculation of who these beings are. But you could always research that and learn about the Anunnakis and Enlil and Enlil and Enki and Enlil that came to Earth. So, but this is not really about who these beings are, but more like to say this is not source that is speaking in Genesis. This is not source that they are speaking of. This is not the one infinite creator. These are just creator beings. We are all creator beings. So these beings who are advanced in technology and also wisdom that knows how to use their energy, their creation powers, because we are all creator, we create too. And these are the beings that came to the planet. These are beings from other planet that came to the planet. That these are the beings that they're talking about in Genesis. These are the beings that chose Noah and his bloodline, to maintain his bloodline. These are who they're speaking of in Genesis, and these are who people are worshiping today as Jehovah and Yahweh. This is not the one infinite source. These are other beings from other density who are having their own experience, just as we as human beings, just as we as beings that are having our experience as human beings. Because again, God does not judge. There is no judgment. There is no preference or treatment. God don't treat one group of people this way and then treat one group up. No, that's saying separation. And there is no separation with creator, with consciousness. There is only oneness, because we are all one and we are all connected. Therefore, there cannot be any separation. Therefore, the source would not be choosing a group of people to treat in a certain way. That's what you have to question. Does God treat one people this way and then treat a group of people another way? No, that is coming from a space of ego that cannot come in from the God that reside within us, because the God that reside in us, there is no separation and there is only pure love, and there is no judgment, because we all came to experience, including the other beings that they're speaking about in Genesis. They are also experiencing too. They're having their own experience, but they just have a different consciousness. They just have a different level of awareness than human beings are, because to have a 3D experience, we have to forget who we truly are. To have a real human experience, we couldn't remember that we are God, because if we knew that we were God, we couldn't really have a human experience. But those beings are conscious and aware that they came from source. They know this. They were aware of this. And in a sense, you could say they came and they manipulate the humans that were on the planet. They were manipulating human beings because they have that knowledge, and they keep that knowledge secret. They didn't tell human beings like, oh, you're just like us. You have a spirit within yourself that is God, that is connected to the source, and you could do the same thing that we do. But so, I'm sorry, it's a fly. But anyway, I don't want to make this video super long, but that was just my thought there, that the God they're speaking about in Genesis is not the one infinite creator. These are just beings that came from a higher density, that have light bodies. These are the one who came to Earth and put on and put on a fleshly body, or manifest themselves into a physical body. And these are who Noah was speaking with. These are who Noah and his bloodline of family had a connection with. Not the one infinite source, not the one infinite creator, not consciousness. Because consciousness has no physical form, and consciousness has no separation. It's pure love. There's no judgment. And consciousness does not make mistake. Source does not make mistakes. there is no separation because all is one. Thank you.